Liam was 15 when he first heard the voice in the forest. He wasn't special, not a genius or a hero, just a quiet boy with a love for science and stars. He lived in a small town called Pine Grove, surrounded by thick woods and long, quiet nights. His parents were busy people, always working, so Liam spent most of his time alone. One evening, Liam decided to record the sounds of nature for his school project. He borrowed his dad's old audio recorder, packed a flashlight, and went into the forest. The air was cool, and the sky above was full of stars. Crickets chirped, leaves rustled, and an owl hooted in the distance. Everything felt peaceful. He walked deeper, past the broken fence, where the trees stood taller and the light barely touched the ground. There was a strange calm there, the kind that made your heart beat louder. Liam placed the recorder on a rock and sat beside it, listening to the forest breathe. After an hour, nothing unusual happened. He yawned, packed up, and returned home. That night, while reviewing the recording, he froze. Between the chirps and wind, a voice whispered, soft and clear, "Come back when you're ready. I'll be waiting." Liam's heart skipped a beat. He played it again and again. The voice didn't sound human. It was gentle, strange, almost musical. And it wasn't on any part he remembered hearing while sitting there. He showed it to his science teacher, who thought it was a prank. His parents brushed it off as a glitch or a joke, but Liam knew what he heard. The next night he returned to the same spot. He waited in the dark with the recorder on. Hours passed, but the voice didn't return. Then, just as he stood to leave, the ground trembled slightly. A faint blue light glowed behind the trees. Drawn to it, Liam pushed through the branches. He found a small clearing with a smooth, round stone in the center, glowing softly. Beside it was a narrow crack in the ground, like a hidden entrance. Curious and a bit afraid, Liam slipped through the opening. He crawled down into a small cave lit by glowing moss on the walls. The air smelled of metal and earth. At the center of the cave was something he had never seen before. A floating image, a hologram of a girl. She looked about his age, with silver hair that floated as if underwater and large violet eyes. Her skin was pale blue, and her face looked worried. She didn't speak, but her eyes locked onto his. Then, the same voice echoed in the cave. "Come back when you're older. When you're ready. I'll be waiting." Liam stepped closer, but the image flickered. Suddenly, the ground shook harder. Dust fell from above, the walls cracked, the cave began to collapse. He turned and crawled out just in time. The entrance closed behind him, buried by falling stones. The glowing rock dimmed until it was dark. Liam stood there, breathing hard, confused and scared. Who was the girl? Why was she waiting for him? Why him? He didn't sleep that night. He replayed everything in his head over and over. No one believed his story, not his parents, not his teachers, not even his friends. So he stopped telling it, but he never forgot it. The voice, the cave, the girl with violet eyes, they stayed in his mind like a dream too real to ignore. Years passed, and Liam moved away from Pine Grove. He finished school, went to college, tried to live a normal life, but sometimes, in quiet moments, he heard her voice. Again, "Come back. When you're ready." He didn't know what ready meant. He didn't know why she chose him. But deep down he knew one thing. This wasn't over, and someday, he would have to return. 7 years had passed since the cave collapsed. Liam had almost convinced himself it was just a dream, a strange childhood memory, shaped by loneliness and imagination. But deep in his heart, a voice still whispered, soft, patient, unshaken, "Come back when you're ready." He was now 23. His life was normal, boring, even. He worked at a tech store, lived in a small apartment, ate the same meals every week. No aliens, no glowing caves, no messages from the stars. Just city lights and deadlines. But that night, something changed. It began with a knock. Not at his door, but inside his mind, like a memory waking up, too strong to ignore. He found himself staring at a dusty box tucked in his closet, one he hadn't opened in years. Inside were his old notebooks. the broken audio recorder, and a smooth black stone he didn't remember packing. It pulsed with a faint blue glow, the same color as the light in the forest. Liam picked it up, and the moment he touched it, the stone warmed in his hand. Then it came to life, not with sound but with light. Tiny blue symbols rose in the air like smoke, forming strange patterns and shapes. Then they shifted into something familiar: English words. Coordinates received, Nethera awaits. The key has aged, entry permitted. Liam's breath caught. Nethera. The name felt ancient and beautiful, like a secret meant only for him. His phone buzzed, but the screen was blank. No notifications, no time, no signal. Only one line appeared. Forest Point, midnight, come alone. He looked out the window. The city lights blinked below. Unaware of what was happening, everything inside him screamed it was insane. But something deeper whispered back, this is real. That night, as the clock neared midnight, Liam drove toward his hometown. The road felt both familiar and foreign, like driving into a memory he had locked away. The forest stood tall as ever, older, darker, waiting. He parked near the same broken fence, now overgrown with vines. The moon lit the trees with a silver glow. He stepped into the forest, the stone in his pocket still warm. His footsteps were quiet, the world around him silent. No wind, no animals, just stillness. Then he saw it, a circle of light hovering above the ground, humming softly, a portal, swirling like mist and stars. It wasn't there before, not 7 years ago, but it felt like it had always belonged. Liam took one step closer. The stone glowed brighter in his hand. Then he heard the voice again, clearer. This time closer. You came back human. He turned, expecting to see someone, but no one was there, only the trees and the silence. The portal pulsed gently. Waiting, he knew he had a choice. He could turn back, go home, forget everything once again, live a safe life, or he could step forward, into the unknown, into Nethera, into whatever waited beyond. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and stepped into the light. Falling didn't feel like falling. It felt like floating through light and memory. Liam's eyes were open, but he saw stars moving past him in every direction. Shapes, voices, and symbols he couldn't understand danced around him, and through it all, the same voice echoed in his mind, calm and ancient. Nethera welcomes the human key. Then suddenly it stopped. No sound, no motion, just a heavy silence. And then, the ground. Liam fell onto soft grass. But it wasn't green, it shimmered, with silver and deep blue, glowing faintly in the dark. He stood up slowly, his heart pounding. Around him stretched a strange, beautiful world. The sky above was violet, scattered with twin moons. Tall trees with crystal-like leaves swayed without wind. Insects buzzed with glowing wings, and rivers flowed with light instead of water. It was like stepping into a dream painted by stars. Liam turned around, looking for the portal, but it was gone. No door, no way back, only the sound of this alien land breathing softly around him. He wasn't alone. From the shadows, figures watched him, not hostile, just curious. Small creatures with bright eyes and feathered skin peeked from behind trees. One of them chirped and ran away, the rest scattered, as if they had seen something important. Liam took a cautious step forward. The stone in his pocket vibrated, glowing faintly. Suddenly, a pathway lit up before him, glowing lines on the ground, guiding his feet. He followed without hesitation, because somehow it felt right. As he walked, he saw strange towers rising in the distance. They looked like temples, but not made by humans. They pulsed with energy and echoed whispers he couldn't hear clearly. He didn't know where he was going, but something was pulling him forward. Then he saw her. Standing at the edge of a glowing lake was the girl from the cave. Older now, taller, her silver hair flowing behind her like light in the wind. Her violet eyes met his, not with surprise, but with relief. "You came back," she said, her voice the same one he had heard for years, soft, calm, and filled with something more: hope. Liam stepped closer, unsure what to say. "You remember me," he whispered. She nodded. "I've waited 7 years for you to return." He had 100 questions, but only one escaped his lips. "Why me?" The alien girl, Araya, looked up at the violet sky. "Because you're the only one who can save us." Before he could respond, the ground beneath them trembled. A deep roar echoed from the mountains far away. Araya turned sharply, her expression changing from calm to concern. "They know you're here," she said quickly. "We have to move now." She reached out her hand, and for a moment, Liam hesitated, but then he took it, as they ran through the glowing forest. Chased by shadows he couldn't see, Liam realized something. This wasn't just about a message or a girl in a cave. This was war, and he was already part of it. Liam woke up inside a glowing cocoon. Soft light pulsed around him like a heartbeat. He couldn't move, but he could breathe. He wasn't in a bed. He was floating in midair, wrapped in something warm and alive. Outside the cocoon, shadowy figures moved quickly. He wasn't dreaming. This was Nithera, and it was very real. The cocoon melted away without touch or sound. Liam dropped gently onto the ground. He gasped. Blinking under the strange sky, Araya stood nearby, surrounded by people who didn't look fully alien or fully human. Their eyes glowed, their skin shimmered, and their clothes seemed made from living fabric. "You survived the link," Araya said softly. "It accepted you." Liam looked around, dazed. "What was that?" "A test," she answered. "Nithera needed to know if you were truly ready." He was taken to a vast chamber beneath the surface. Its walls were covered in ancient symbols and carvings, glowing faintly with memories. "This is the core library," Araya explained. "It holds the story of our people and the truth about yours." She waved her hand, and images appeared in the air. Stars, planets, ships' wars, victories, betrayals. Liam saw Earth, glowing blue, watched by something hidden in space. Araya's voice grew serious. "A long time ago, our ancestors visited Earth. They found something unique in humans, something no other race had. A kind of resistance. A natural immunity to mind control." Liam stepped closer to the image. "Mind control?" "Yes," she nodded. "The enemy we face, the Varuk, don't conquer planets with weapons. They take minds, steal choices, erase freedom. But they couldn't take the minds of humans. Not completely. So they erased all records of the link between us," she continued. "They made sure Earth forgot about the stars." Liam's mind raced. "Why me, though?" "I'm just one person." Araya looked at him with eyes full of fire. "Because you were chosen by the core. It saw something in you, a code in your blood, hidden deep, maybe passed down by those who visited your world." She led him to a large platform with strange symbols. "This," she said, "is the key to the Starfire Vault. It holds a weapon powerful enough to destroy the Varuk's hive mind. But only a human can open it." Liam stared at the symbols, his hand trembling. "I don't know how." "You don't need to," she whispered. "The vault will know you." He stepped forward, and the symbols lit up under his feet. They reacted to him. Like a living language, the platform hummed, then opened slowly, revealing a glowing path below. Gasps filled the room as the watchers stepped back in awe. "The vault has awakened," someone said. "After 1,000 years." Suddenly, the room darkened, a chill filled the air, and a voice cold and inhuman echoed from nowhere. "The human has arrived." Araya pulled Liam away, her face pale. "They found us," she said. "The Varuk know you're here." In the distance, alarms began to sound, low and haunting. Lights turned red, shadows moved faster. The war wasn't waiting anymore, it had already begun. The sky was on fire. Twin moons vanished behind thick black clouds as glowing ships tore through the atmosphere like falling stars. Screams echoed from the hills, not of fear, but of a world waking up to war. Liam stood at the edge of a high cliff, watching the invasion begin. The Varuk had arrived, and they were not hiding anymore. Down below, the fields of Nithera shimmered with panic. Rebel bases were lighting up with blue shields. Scrambling to prepare defenses, creatures of all shapes ran toward bunkers and towers, carrying weapons that looked half organic, half machine, but it all looked too small, too slow. Against the army descending from the sky, Liam turned to Araya, her silver armor reflecting the burning horizon. "This is my fault," he whispered. "They came for me." "No," she said, placing her hand on his shoulder. "They came because they're afraid of what you might unlock. You are not the reason we're falling. Liam, you're the reason we still have a chance." They ran to the rebel command tower, where holograms showed dozens of red dots moving fast toward their location. "They've breached the outer perimeter," shouted a commander. 3 hive ships. Heading to the core temple, Liam stared at the screen. "The vault is there," he said slowly. "They're going to destroy it before I can reach it." "Then we stop them," Araya said firmly. She handed him a glowing wristband. "This will shield your mind from Varrock influence, even if they try to touch you telepathically." Liam strapped it on, unsure if it would work, but having no time to doubt, he followed Araya to a ship that looked like a giant silver hawk, wings humming with energy. As it rose into the air, the battlefield below unfolded like a nightmare. Smoke rose in spirals, buildings cracked open like eggs, and the sky filled with black-winged Varrock drones. They weren't robots, they were alive, twisted creatures bred for war, and they flew in perfect silence. That silence was worse than any roar. The ship shook as energy blasts struck near its wings. Liam held on as Araya controlled the flight, dodging and weaving through chaos. Then, in the distance he saw it, the core temple, glowing with ancient power, surrounded by a swarm of Varrock. Suddenly, the ship jolted. A drone had latched onto the side, claws digging in. The ship began to spin, alarms blaring, warning lights flashing red. "We're going down," Araya shouted. "Brace yourself." The crash wasn't loud, but it hurt. The world spun as metal groaned and fire hissed around them. Liam crawled out of the wreckage, coughing, bleeding, but alive. Araya pulled him up. "Run," she said. "They'll be here any second." They ran through broken stone paths toward the temple gates. Guards were already fighting there, Nithera warriors side by side with strange allies from other worlds. One of them, a 4-armed alien, tossed Liam a staff weapon glowing with heat. "Welcome to the war, human," he grinned, then charged into the battle. Liam followed Araya into the temple. The inside was dark, quiet, sacred, as if the building itself refused to panic. "The vault is beneath us," Araya said, "but we have minutes, not hours." Then a shadow dropped from the ceiling. A Varrock commander, tall, twisted, with glowing red eyes and a voice that scraped like metal on bone. "The human will not pass," it hissed. Araya stood in front of Liam. "You'll have to go through me," the creature smiled. "I was hoping you'd say that." They clashed. Araya fast and precise, the Varrock brutal and wild. Liam watched, heart pounding, unable to move. Then he remembered. "You are not a warrior," the core had once told him. "You are a key. And keys don't fight, they unlock." He turned and ran deeper into the temple, past glowing walls and whispers from the past. The vault door stood tall, silent, waiting. He placed his hand on the center, and it began to open. Asterisk. The moment his hand touched the vault, everything went silent. No war sounds, no footsteps, no screams, just silence. Liam felt like time had paused. The giant stone door in front of him shimmered, then slowly melted into light. He stepped inside, not knowing what waited for him. The chamber was massive, yet empty. Its floor was smooth like glass, and its walls curved upward into a dome of stars. Above him, galaxies spun like dust. Planets appeared and disappeared. And in the center of it all floated a small orb no bigger than his fist. It pulsed with light, like a heart that had waited too long. "This is the Starfire," said a voice behind him. Liam turned, but no one was there, only the stars and the stillness. "Who's there?" he asked, his voice echoing strangely. "The last of the Makers," the voice replied. A memory left behind for the one who would come. Liam stepped closer to the orb. The light inside it flickered, showing glimpses of war, destruction, and hope. "The starfire is not a weapon," the voice continued. "It is a seed, one that can restart worlds or end them." Liam stared at it, confused. "I thought this would save Nethera." "It will," the voice said, "but only if you pay the price." "What price?" Liam asked, already afraid of the answer. "A human life," the voice whispered. "The starfire needs a living core, someone to bind to it, guide it, give it shape." "You mean, it needs me to die?" The chamber pulsed gently. "To live in one world, you must leave another." Liam backed away from the orb. This couldn't be the only way. There had to be something else, another key, another person. Then the ground shook, screams echoed once more, reality returning. Araya's voice cut through. "The chamber, Liam!" She shouted from outside the vault. "We're losing the temple. You have to do it now." He turned toward the entrance, torn. He could leave, survive, run. Or he could become the very thing the enemy feared. The voice returned, softer now. "You were chosen. Not because you are powerful, but because you care." Liam closed his eyes. He remembered his lonely nights, the forest, the first message, the girl in the cave. He remembered Araya's eyes, the way she looked at him like hope itself. He placed both hands on the orb. It glowed brighter, then brighter still. The light wrapped around him like a storm. And in that moment, Liam wasn't afraid. Outside, Araya watched as a beam of pure light erupted from the vault. The sky cracked open. The Varrock ships froze midair, their control broken, one by one. They fell silent and lifeless. The ground pulsed with energy. Not destruction, but healing. Nethera breathed again. But Liam was gone. Only a small trace of his voice remained, soft, like wind through trees. "I'm still here, in the light, Araya dropped to her knees, tears falling onto the glowing ground. She had saved her world, but lost the boy who answered her call, or so she thought. Years passed. The war on Nethera became a story. The Varrock were gone. Their hive mind shattered the day the vault opened. Peace returned slowly, but it returned. And in that peace, they built a statue. Not of a soldier, not of a king, but of a boy, standing tall with one hand stretched forward, holding a glowing orb. They called him the Lightbringer. No one ever saw Liam again. His name faded from memory outside Nethera. But inside its people, he became something more. Araya stood at the cliff's edge. The same cliff where the sky had once burned red. Now the sky was quiet, painted in soft colors of peace. She had grown older, wiser. Yet a part of her heart remained locked in the moment she lost him. She visited the vault every year, not to open it, but to listen, because sometimes when the world was silent, she heard his voice. Not in words, but in feeling, in warmth, in light, in the way the wind whispered through the trees. Then, one night, everything changed. She was walking through the old forest near the base of the vault when her wrist communicator flickered. A single tone repeated 3 low beeps and 1 long. Not a warning, not a glitch, a signal. Araya froze, her heart skipping like it had when she first met him. She ran to the old control tower. Fingers shaking, the screen came to life on its own, showing static for a moment. Then a voice, broken, distant but clear. "Hello? Araya ... I think I found a way back." It was him, Liam's voice, older, uncertain, but real. Her eyes widened, tears instantly forming. "Liam," she whispered, as if saying his name would make the moment stay forever. The static cleared more, and a face appeared on the screen. It was him, alive but different. His eyes glowed faintly, like the stars inside the vault. His skin shimmered slightly, touched by energy that was no longer human or fully alien. "I don't have long," he said. "I became part of the vault to stop the Varrock. But something strange happened. The starfire didn't take my life. It changed it. I'm not dead, but I'm not exactly alive either." He smiled gently. I'm somewhere between light and thought. Araya leaned forward, gripping the edge of the screen. Can you come back? She asked, voice trembling. I'm trying, Liam replied. I've found a path and echo through time. But I'll need help. The vault ... It's shifting, he continued. It's not just a machine, it's alive. And it wants to open again. But only if you believe I'm still there. Araya didn't hesitate. She called her team, reopened the sacred chamber, and stood before the far vault. The orb that once held the starfire floated again. Silent, waiting, she reached toward it. Liam, she whispered. I never stopped believing. The orb pulsed once, then again. Faster, a ring of light exploded outward. The chamber filled with wind, stars, and sound. Then, he stepped out. Liam, whole again, but changed. He looked at his hands as if seeing them for the first time. I didn't think this would work, he said softly. But you remembered me. Araya ran forward and hugged him without saying a word, because there were no words big enough for what they had both lost, and now, somehow, found again. The lights faded, the orb went dark, but the world around them burned brighter than ever. Liam had returned, not just as a boy from Earth, not just as a memory, but as something new, something greater. And he had one thing left to say. I'm ready now, he smiled. Let's build the future together.